Shraddha Baid, and I will be the convener of today's event. We will begin this session with Mangla Charan. Request each one of you to kindly join your hands.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvachayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Eso Panchanamukkaro, Savva Pavapanasano, Mangalanam Che Savvesin, Padamanghavai Mangalam.
Padamam Havai Mangalam Om Arham. With this, I request Lakshmi Patji, our TPF Bangalore president, for his kind words. Thank you. Over to you, Lakshmi Patji.
Thank you, Swaji. परम श्रद्धेय गुरुदेव आचार्य श्री महाश्रमण जी के चरणों में वंदना। टीपीएफ के आध्यात्मिक पर्यवेक्षक श्री मुनि श्री रजनीश कुमार जी के चरणों में वंदन और बेंगलोर में विराजित सारी चारित्र आत्माओं को कोटिश वंदना। तो ये आज का जो विषय है करियर काउंसलिंग, एक मेरे हिसाब से तो तीन चीज लाइफ में इंपॉर्टेंट है जो हमारा जो जीवन डिसाइड करता है कि हम लोग क्या करेंगे। उस तीन में से दो चीज पे हमारा कंट्रोल, एक कंट्रोल नहीं है। तो तीन चीज के हम कौन से, हमारे पेरेंट्स कौन है, हम किस फैमिली में बॉर्न हुए। सेकंड है कि हम अपना करियर क्या चूज करते हैं और तीसरा है कि हमारा लाइफ पार्टनर क्या है। ये तीनों चीज से ही हमारा जो जीवन की धुरी है इसके आसपास ही है। तो जो पहला पॉइंट है उसमें तो वी डोंट हैव मच चॉइस, whom we are born। सेकंड जो है कि करियर क्या चूज करते हैं और करियर कौन सा चूज करना है और बेस्ड ऑन आवर टेम्परामेंट एंड बेस्ड ऑन आवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्या चूज करते हैं, दैट बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट। एंड थर्ड जो पार्टनर के बाद आज का टॉपिक है जो करियर काउंसलिंग। तो ये जो करियर चूज करना है ये एक ऑब्वियसली सब लोग चाहते हैं कि कौन सा डिग्री चूज करे, कौन सा करियर चूज करे और किस लाइन में जाना चाहिए। सबको क्वेश्चन रहता है, स्पेसिफिकली भी जो 10वीं 12वीं के विद्यार्थी हैं। और वो स्वाभाविक है क्योंकि आज चॉइसेस भी इतनी ज्यादा है और कंपटीशन इतना ज्यादा, तो एवरीबडी वांट्स टू पुट द राइट स्टेप, फर्स्ट स्टेप बराबर हो, सब करना चाहिए। पर मुझे जो लगता है, जो मेरे अनुभव से और मैंने जो बाकी लोगों के साथ काम करके देखा है कि जो डिग्री है या जो हम लोग चूज करते हैं, चाहे डॉक्टर बने या इंजीनियर बने, आई थिंक ये एक एंट्री कार्ड है प्रोफेशन के लिए, एक समझ लीजिए विजिटिंग कार्ड का टाइप का है। बट दैट स्टिल डजंट डिसाइड एनीथिंग अबाउट आवर सक्सेस ऑफ करियर और जो हमारा फुलफिलमेंट इन करियर। आई थिंक दैट मुझे लगता है लास्टली इट इज अवर हमारा एटीट्यूड और हमारा कैपेबिलिटी टू कीप लर्निंग न्यू थिंग्स। सी अगर आप 20वीं सदी में थे पहले, एक चीज सीख लिया जीवन में 10-20 साल तक आप उसी चीज को सीख के आपका अपनी जो करियर की गाड़ी आगे बढ़ा सकते हो। तो 21st सेंचुरी में ये डेफिनेशन बिल्कुल नहीं चलेगा। सो इरेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ व्हाट करियर यू चूज, राइट, आप कुछ भी बने, आप इंजीनियर बने, सीए बने, यूपीएससी से आप आईएएस बने, आई थिंक वी ऑल हैव टू बी, विच वी आर ऑल राइट नाउ। दैट्स व्हाई आई थिंक वी ऑल आर हियर लर्निंग मशीन। सीखने की हमारे पास काबिलियत होनी चाहिए, सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। अगर सीखने की काबिलियत हमारे पास नहीं है तो आप कोई भी करियर चूज कीजिए, आप कहीं ना कहीं रुक जाएंगे, थम जाएंगे। तो ये सीखने की काबिलियत सीख लें, वो सीख लिया ना तो बाकी सब तो आई थिंक एंट्री है कि हम वकील बने या हम सीए बने, सीखना बहुत जरूरी है। तो यहाँ पे जो हमारे पैनल मेंबर्स हैं सारे, उनसे आप सीखेंगे कि वो लोग स्टार्ट कहाँ से किए, अभी क्या कर रहे हैं। एंड सीखना बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है मेरे हिसाब से करियर में। और ये अगर एटीट्यूड आपके पास आ गया ना, और आप देखते हो अभी शार्क टैंक सब लोग देखते होंगे, तो जितने भी लोग हैं ऑल आर लर्निंग पीपल। जो सीखते हैं वो आगे बढ़ते हैं, जो सीख नहीं पाते हैं वो आगे नहीं बढ़ पाते हैं। सीखना बहुत जरूरी है। और मैं वेलकम करता हूँ हमारे सारे पैनल मेंबर्स का। हमारे जो 4-5 पैनल मेंबर्स हैं वेरियस डाइवर्स सब्जेक्ट, डाइवर्स फील्ड्स के हैं। और वेलकम टू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स जो आज संडे के टाइम में समय निकाल के आ रहे हैं। और मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि काफी लोग आए हो आप लोग, और इस मतलब है कि आप काफी सीरियस हो अपने करियर के बारे में और करियर पॉइंट क्या चूज करना उसके बारे में। तो होपफुली इन नेक्स्ट 1.5 आवर आप लोगों को क्वेश्चंस का आंसर मिलेंगे और शायद अच्छा मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा। और मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट मार्गदर्शन ज्यादा प्रेरणा मिलेगी आगे बढ़ने के लिए और आगे अपना लाइफ डिसीजन लेने के लिए। थैंक यू। बैक टू यू श्रद्धा जी।
Thank you so much, Lakshmi Patji, for explaining the attitude that each one of us should have. We should have an aspiration to learn. Thank you for these kind words. I'll briefly now explain the flow of the event so that everyone has a fair idea. We will introduce each and every speakers. So we have today 5 speakers with us. We will introduce each of them. We will ask the speakers to talk something about a career, and then we will move into question and answer session. We also have a chat box where the participant can paste their questions, and we will take up one by one. Thank you. Now I'll just introduce the first. Sorry. So I was saying that I'll introduce today our first speaker, Mr. Aji Agarwal. It takes me immense pleasure to introduce Aji. Aji is a serial entrepreneur who has been instrumental in building world-class products and companies in high-tech space. He has led multiple startups from innovation. And Aji holds a Master of Engineering degree from BITS Pilani, Rajasthan. His Silicon Valley-based startups were funded by the likes of Intel Capital and Philips. His most recent venture capital technology, IoT engineering company, was acquired by Happiest Minds. I'm sure you all would have heard about Happiest Minds, and Ajayji's entity was acquired by Happiest Mind. A warm welcome to you, Ajayji. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha, for the kind introductory session. I would like to thank each one of you, for joining this session, and it's a pleasure being here. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Ajay.
Sure. There's a lot of silence. So, being a parent, I myself share the anxiety and importance of making a decision around the career choices that are there. But before we get into this career choices, let me give you some context. If I look at 3 generations, if I look at my parents, their career choices and decisions were done, around the basic necessities of life, as we call it, roti, kapra, and makan. And when they stabilized, the decision for me was with regards to, getting into more stable job, getting into stability, so to speak. But if you really look at the landscape today, all of you who are looking at building a career at this point in time, I really believe that you can really align your passion and interest with your professional choices. And the reason I say so is because we are moving away from an implementation nation to a more of an innovators nation. And what I mean by that is, earlier we were doing what we were asked to do, versus now we are identifying and defining what we want to do. And I think that's a very, very important aspect to look at. There are multitudes of opportunities around us. It's just not CA, engineer, civil services, doctor that we used to think earlier. At least in my childhood, the culture that is there today enables you to make difference in anything and everything around us, whether it's social engineering, whether it's content, sales, marketing, finance, engineering, manufacturing, life sciences, even looking at the public services and governance, or basically even taking your family business to scale. So the opportunities are humongous, and more importantly, the potential of each one of them for you to make a difference is also huge. So in a sense, you don't have to worry about, I should choose a particular stream because it has more potential. I think you have the luxury to sort of define and identify and choose the stream that you want, without the fear whether, there is enough potential there or not. So what it means in a sense is that your career and your happiness is more in your hands than it was ever before. At least, if I look at few generations back, I firmly believe, especially with my kids, I've made it very clear that their career and their happiness is more in their hand than anything else. And this is fantastic, because it gives you an opportunity to sort of sculpt your own future the way you want it. Okay. Now, before, while it looks so simple, let me also, give you some triads or attributes around that. The first thing that I believe is that making a decision is very important. And I'm not saying making a right decision. What it means is you have to make a timely decision, and the value of making a decision is much more than actually delaying a decision or making a wrong decision, so to speak. So making a timely decision is very, very important. Now, let's get to the process of making the decision. It's good to say that I was born with, the inclination to become an entrepreneur or become an engineer, so to speak. I think we are all shaped with the enablers that we have the kind of culture and the surrounding that we have. So you're influenced by your parents, your friends, your school, your institutes, your mentors, your teachers. I got influenced by one of the seniors, who was at BITS, and I actually really wanted to get in there, and that drove me to to go there. Similarly, I know of an entrepreneur who runs a billion-dollar company. He was basically born and brought up in the IIT campus because his father was a professor there. Now he really got influenced by the life that IIT provides. He went into graduate in top honors, went to MIT, and now he runs a billion-dollar company in this part of the world. The third important aspect is making a choice is a simpler job, according to me. I think the most important thing is to actually put all the wood behind the arrows, to actually work hard. And this working hard is something that's, you have to do irrespective of the choice you make. Now, imagine if Sachin Tendulkar, who ideally would have become a banker given his background, he chose cricket as his profession. But what if he had not put the hard yards and prepared himself, ahead of time to face Akram and Yunus, when they were at the peak of their career in terms of fast bowling. Now, once he was able to surmount that challenge, he announced that he was there, and rest is history from there on. The other myth that most of us have is that, oh, once I make a decision, it's not reversible. I don't think that's the case. I think most of the decisions are reversible. Nothing is cast in stone. I work with people who have done MBBS and they have been doctors, but they run engineering companies. There are people who are running technology who are coming from a finance background, and there's a reverse drain as well, or a reverse exodus as well, where technology people are trying to learn more about healthcare and life sciences so that they can actually make transformation there. Similarly, I know of people who are getting into legal business so that they can enable technology and legal business together. As you go through this journey, again, it's not a straightforward journey. You have to keep yourself motivated. You have to take help, what is available on the way, from time to time, with different circles, mostly your friends and family, and you have to keep striving hard. The other important thing is our ability to take failure. I think we as students should not be worrying about failure, because failure has taught us more than successes do. I have had more company which have failed than the company that has succeeded, and I take pride in the kind of learnings and the lessons I have learned, from my companies that have failed. Now, if I have to summarize my discussion and my approach towards it, I think the first thing is that you have to trust your choice. I think it's important that you make a choice or make a set of choices. Follow the process to explore, what choices are relevant to you, and then work towards enabling yourself. Making a timely choice and working towards enabling that is something that that is very, very important. And enabling is not a tough job, because people in the past have done that, and if you follow that, you will easily figure out, what's the way to do that. The other important thing which Lakshmi also touched upon is your ability to learn and adopt. I think that's the most important thing, because what you prepare for today, what career streams that you choose today, and how it looks to you today versus how it will be when you actually work on it, will be two different world. Every generation is changing. In 2 to 5 years now, things will be very different when you're going to use the knowledge and the stream that you have chosen. So with that, I wish you the very best, and happy to take any questions as we go along. And it's my real pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Ajay ji, for such kind words. Working hard is what you stressed upon, and timely decision is important. Thank you so much, Ajay ji. Now we'll move on to the next speaker of the day. So I request Sneha ji from TPF to introduce our next speaker of the day, Sneha Beth.
Jai Jinendra, my name is Sneha, and I'll introduce Hitesh ji. Mr. Hitesh is a trainer with expertise in the area of motivational sessions, personality development, communication skills, marketing, branding, and various other things. He's also the first generation entrepreneur, and he has been in the business for the past 19 years. His analytical and problem solving skills makes him a business consultant, and he has done business consultancy from Mrs. Vijayashree Group of companies and Gopalan Cinemas, to name a few, and a commerce graduate with a specialization in tax and tax procedures and practices, and MBA, specialized MBA and in marketing. And he has an educational qualification which is creditable. So he has completed his course even in a diploma of foreign trade and EPS graduate and many others. So he's a passionate trainer and an entrepreneur. We welcome you to this session, sir.
Over to you, Hitesh ji.
Thank you so much, Sneha, for such a wonderful introduction. Sabko Sadar Jai Jinendra. I think I'll be using a little bit of Hindi as well as English in my conversation. Am I audible, Shraddha ji? Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Hitesh ji, it's clear.
थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच। सबसे पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा टीपीएफ को, जिन्होंने मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया कि मैं मेरे व्यूज शेयर कर सकूँ यहाँ पे। एंड आई एम रियली प्लीज्ड टू बी अमॉन्गस्ट द यंग जनरेशन हु आर गोइंग टू बी द फ्यूचर ऑफ आवर कंट्री। सो आई एम रियली हैप्पी एंड आई एम रियली प्लीज्ड टू शेयर माय व्यूज ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग। करियर काउंसलिंग एक ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है, ऐसा टॉपिक है जो बहुत ही कह सकते हैं कि लाइफ चेंजिंग होता है, या it's one thing wherein the life gets diverted or life gets completely focused on certain areas. तो जैसे अजय जी ने काफी अच्छी तरह से एक्सप्लेन किया कि how is it that you should be having your career choices, तो मुझे भी पता है। देखिए, आज अगर एक इंटरनेट खोल के देखते हैं तो पता चल जाता है कि 10वीं के बाद में क्या करना है, आफ्टर 10th व्हाट इज देयर। आपको एक बार इंटरनेट पे वापस से सर्च करना है कि 12th के बाद में क्या करूं, तो वो भी मिल जाएगा। आज के दिन सब मेंटर्स बने हुए हैं, सब लोगों के पास अच्छे अच्छे लोग बैठे हुए हैं। तो मैं उस मुद्दे पे ज्यादा नहीं जाना चाहूंगा। आई वुड बी मोर इंटरेस्टेड इन ट्राइंग टू मेक द पीपल अंडरस्टैंड ओवर हियर कि मैं अपना मेन इंटेंशन क्या है टॉक का, वो लास्ट में लेके आऊंगा। उससे पहले मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि हर इंसान जो होता है यहाँ पे, अपने यहाँ पे तीन टाइप के इंसान होते हैं। एक होता है, वो होता है इनोवेटर। इनोवेटर जो अजय जी ने कहा कि डूअर्स होते हैं, दे आर द पर्सन्स हु एक्चुअली डू थिंग्स, दे मेक थिंग्स हैपन। एंड देन देयर आर सेकंड टाइप ऑफ पीपल who are basically called as followers, जो आके जो भी चीज इनोवेट हुई, जो भी चीज अच्छी लगी, वो चीज देख के उसको फॉलो करते हैं। उसके बाद में थर्ड टाइप ऑफ पीपल होते हैं, उनको बोलते हैं लैगर्ड्स। लैगर्ड्स जो होते हैं वो हमेशा से मतलब पीछे चलने वाले, भेड़ चाल चलने वाले, जो सब चीज खत्म हो जाए उसके बाद में बोलते हैं भाई मरता क्या करता, कुछ तो करना है। तो वैसे वाले लोग होते हैं। तो यहाँ पे उपस्थित जितने भी लोग हैं, whoever are there who wanted to have a career in near future, I always request you, you have to find out in these three categories where you want to be. आप साइंस चूज करते हो, आर्ट्स चूज करते हो, या आप कॉमर्स चूज करते हो, कुछ भी चूज करो, आप जो भी करो एक शिद्दत से करो, सारी चीज अपनी एनर्जी वगैरह सारी चीज उसके साथ में लगाओ। देन आई ऑलवेज रिक्वेस्ट एवरी पर्सन कि आप अपनी एंटरप्राइजिंग क्वालिटी मत छोड़ो। मुझे लगता है कि हर इंसान जो होता है, ही इज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर। एंटरप्रेन्योर मैं इसलिए बोलता हूं कि मैं हमेशा से ये मानता हूं कि हमारे जीन के अंदर, हमारे जो हिंदू राष्ट्र है, या हम बोल सकते हैं कि इंडियन कल्चर के अंदर, हम लोगों को हमेशा से सिखाया गया है कि पैसा कैसे बनाया जाता है, पैसा कैसे बचाया जाता है। हमारे खून में है कि भाई पैसा बनाओ, पैसा बचाओ और अपनी फ्यूचर को सिक्योर करो। तो जब ये चीज आती है तो सबसे अच्छी चीज जो आती है वो होती है कि एंटरप्राइजिंग क्वालिटीज जो होती है वो आती है। तो मैं ये मानता हूं कि आपको हमेशा से ये ध्यान में रखना है कि भले ही आप जॉब के लिए जाओ, भले ही आप सॉफ्टवेयर बनो, सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर बनो और एक अच्छी सी आईटी कंपनी में जॉब करो, या कहीं पे भी करो, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग होती है आपको दो चीज ध्यान रखना। और वो मैं मानता हूं फर्स्ट थिंग होती है, यू बी ओपन टू फाइंडिंग आउट प्रॉब्लम्स इन द सोसाइटी। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग आज के दिन, जो पहले था वो सिस्टम चला गया। मैं एक प्रोडक्ट लेके आता हूं, बोलता हूं भाई मैं यहाँ पे बेचने वाला हूं, मैं ये बेचूंगा, किसको बेचूंगा बाद में ढूंढते हैं, वो नहीं होगा। अभी आपको प्रॉब्लम फाइंड आउट करना है। यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द मोस्ट क्रिटिकल प्रॉब्लम पीपल आर फेसिंग। इफ यू फाइंड दैट प्रॉब्लम एंड इफ यू आर हैविंग द एबिलिटी टू सॉल्व दैट प्रॉब्लम, आप एक प्रॉब्लम फाइंडर बनो। उसके साथ में क्या आप प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर हैं? अगर आपने प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर ली तो इसका मतलब आपका बिजनेस चल पड़ा। और मैं ये हमेशा मानता हूं कि हम लोगों के अंदर जो एंटरप्राइजिंग क्वालिटी है वो एक एंटरप्रेन्योर को जन्म देता है। और एंटरप्रेन्योर एक इतनी बड़ी नेसेसिटी है आज की इंडिया में, क्योंकि अगर आप देखेंगे मेक इन इंडिया हो या कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट हो, हर जगह हम लोग हमेशा से ये बोलते आए हैं कि एंटरप्राइजिंग कॉन्सेप्ट जो है वो हमेशा से चलता आ रहा है और आगे से चलता रहेगा। और आजकल तो स्टार्टअप की निकल पड़ी है। अगर सब देखते हैं, जैसे हमारे प्रेसिडेंट सर ने भी बताया था, लक्ष्मीपत जी ने, कि शार्क टैंक्स चल रहा है। तो छोटे से छोटे लोग जो होते हैं आज के दिन बड़े से बड़ा व्यापार बना सकते हैं। वो बात कर रहे हैं 500 करोड़ की कंपनी, 400 करोड़ की कंपनी, 200 करोड़ की कंपनी। मैं तो ये मानता हूं कि आप 1 रुपया भी, अगर 1 रुपये से 1.5 रुपया भी बना लेते हो तो आप में एंटरप्राइजिंग क्वालिटी है। अब हम आते हैं दो चीजों के अंदर, एक आता है प्रॉब्लम फाइंडर एंड सेकंड थिंग इज प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर। अब हम बोलते हैं कि भाई मैं प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर कैसे बनूं? हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल दैट आई सी द प्रॉब्लम एंड आई सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम? फॉर दैट यू नीड टू अपग्रेड योर स्किल सेट। अगर आप एक सीए बन रहे हो तो आप अपने फिनेंसेस स्ट्रॉन्ग कर रहे हो। व्हाई इज इट नॉट पॉसिबल दैट यू डू सर्टेन कोर्सेज व्हिच आर अवेलेबल ऑनलाइन, जिससे कि आपकी एडमिन क्वालिटी इंप्रूव हो जाए, आपकी मैनेजमेंट क्वालिटी इंप्रूव हो जाए, और हर एक बंदा जो भी एंटरप्रेन्योर रहता है, उसके इंटरैक्शंस जो होते हैं वो आज के दिन हर एक चीज से होते हैं। जैसे कि टेक्नोलॉजी से इंटरेक्शन होता है, जैसे कि सॉफ्टवेयर हैं, हार्डवेयर हैं, उनसे होता है। जैसे कि आज के दिन अगर कहीं पे भी हम लोग जाते हैं तो आप टैक्सेशन डिपार्टमेंट से होता है, आपके इंटरेक्शंस नाना प्रकार के लोगों से होता है। लेकिन सबसे पहली चीज और मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग जो होती है वो होता है ह्यूमन इंटरेक्शन। how good you are at managing people, how good you are at finding out ways and means कि आप अपना काम कैसे निकाल सकते हो। बस एकदम सिंपल होता है बिजनेस। बिजनेस होता है आप अपना काम कैसे निकालते हो, आप अपने 1 रुपए को 1.5 रुपया, 2 रुपया, 5 रुपया, 20 रुपया कैसे बनाते हो। ये है अपना एंटरप्राइजिंग क्वालिटी। तो इसके लिए आप अपने स्किल सेट इंप्रूव कीजिए। आज के दिन ऑनलाइन कोर्सेस बहुत अनगिनत आते हैं, तो जैसे जैसे आपकी स्किल सेट इंप्रूव होगी, एंड कंटिन्यूअस growth is very very important when it comes to skills. You have to go on adding skills. आपका एक बेसिक डिग्री तो साथ में है ही है, उसके साथ में अपनी स्किल सेट्स लाओ, ये दोनों का एक तालमेल बिठाओ, टेक्नोलॉजी को अंदर डालो और अपनी स्टार्टअप चालू करो। बिजनेस भयंकर रूप से चल पड़ेगा। और आज के दिन पैसे लोगों के पास बहुत पड़े हैं, लेकिन काम करने वालों की कमी है। तो आप ये बिल्कुल मन मना के चलो कि आपका करियर एकदम सेफ हैंड्स में है, आप आराम से करियर अपना चूज करो, भले साइंस हो, कॉमर्स हो, आर्ट्स हो, जिस में भी जाना है जाओ, लेकिन जाने के बाद रुको मत। जो भी चीज करते हो शिद्दत से करो, गिव योर 120%। एंड आई एम श्योर कोई भी करियर हो आज के दिन, तो एक स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन जो काफी टाइम से स्पोर्ट्स खेल रहा है, उसने अपना करियर बनाया है केवल कोचिंग के अंदर। I have one of my friend who was playing football. He went to UK. He started playing for some kind of a football club over there. He couldn't climb up the ladder. He came back to India. He is now doing wonderfully well in coaching the football students, and now he is earning not less than 10 to 15 lakh rupees per month. I'm talking about. आराम से करते हैं। आज के दिन हर एक आदमी का कहीं पे भी कुछ भी करियर बन सकता है। आपका पैशन फाइंड आउट करो, पैशन को फॉलो करो, फॉलो करने के बाद में उसको छोड़ो मत। सर जिस दिन लोग बोल दें कि ये क्या सोच रहा है, ये कैसे होगा, ये क्या हो रहा है, उस दिन आप ये मान के चलो कि आप सही लक्ष्य की तरफ जा रहे हो। जब चीज इम्पॉसिबल होती है तो आईएम को निकालो और पॉसिबल बना के बताओ। 110% आपका करियर सुपर सक्सेसफुल है। और हमारी जीती जागती मिसाल है यहाँ पे बिट्स पिलानी से आए हुए अजय अग्रवाल जी और बाकी सब लोग यहाँ पे बैठे हुए हैं। तो वी आर ऑल हैविंग वेरी वेरी गुड फ्यूचर इन आवर हैंड्स। आराम से करो, कोई टेंशन मत लो। Take it as it is. The life is given you. Only thing is that, as Ajay ji has told, choices करने के टाइम पे घबराओ मत, डरो मत। क्या होगा ज्यादा से ज्यादा, बस फेलियर होता है ना, तभी तो आप सक्सेस का मजा ले पाओगे। एंजॉय करो, हर एक चीज को एंजॉय करना सीखो। हम लोग हमेशा होड़म होड़ में हम लोग ये सोचते हैं कि वो आगे निकल गया, ये आगे निकल गया। इस चीज के अंदर हम लोग ये भूल जाते हैं कि भाई हम जो यहाँ पे कर रहे हैं उसको तो एंजॉय करें, उसको तो अपना
हेलो।
इनका वीडियो अभी स्टक हो गया है श्रद्धा जी।
हाँ हाँ लक्ष्मीपत जी, प्रॉब्ली इंटरनेट इशू होगा।
हाँ,
I'm so sorry, I just lost my signal. I think I'm on back, right? Thank you so much. तो इतना ही बताना चाहूंगा, करियर की चॉइसेस अच्छी तरह से कीजिए, आराम से कीजिए, लेकिन हमेशा एंटरप्राइजिंग क्वालिटी अपनी फोर फ्रंट में रखिए। आपको 110% सक्सेस कदम चूमेगी। थैंक यू सो मच श्रद्धा जी।
Thank you so much, Hitesh ji. Very well said that failure is stepping stone to success. So one should accept failure. Thank you for this. Now we move on to our next speaker, Dr. Dhiraj Maruti. I request Varsha ji for a kind introduction. Thank you. Over to you, Varsha ji.
Thank you, Shraddha ji. I'm Jainendra, everyone. I'm glad to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Dhiraj Maruti Jain sir ji. He is chairman and executive director at Race Knee Clinic, Ahmedabad. He's executive committee member at Indian Orthopedic Association and Indian Orthoplasty Association. Dr. Dhiraj ji has started his medical journey from SPMC Bikaner. He followed it up with multiple national and international fellowships, including the prestigious clinical fellowship and knee reconstructive surgery at Lenox Hill Hospital, New York, USA, under the world-renowned orthoplasty surgeon, Dr. C.S. Ranawat, MD, who was one of the original developers and father of total knee replacement surgery. Dr. Maruti has also did a super specialization MCH orthopedics at University of Dundee, Scotland, UK. Over the last 20 years in orthopedics, he has presented his work worldwide and served as a faculty member and panelist in over 100 national and international seminars and has performed over 15,000 knee and hip replacement surgeries. He has also received many national and international awards, such as Outstanding Ambassador and Valued International Visiting Faculty at MCH Ortho at UK, Adult Joint Reconstructive Fellowship USA, Best Technique Award, late Professor Katie Dholakia Best Paper Award, International Faculty at UK, Top 100 Doctors of SPM CIAN, SPMC Gaurav Award, Excellent Award for Teaching, Excellent Award by His Highness Governor of Gujarat, TPF Achiever Award, Best Paper Award, Samaj Gaurav Award, and many other awards. Welcome, Dr. Dhiraj sir, and over to you.
जय जिनेंद्र। सबसे पहले लक्ष्मीपत जी को और श्रद्धा जी को थैंक यू टू इनवाइटिंग मी, और सभी यंगस्टर को जय जिनेंद्र। आज मैं बात करूंगा, मैं तो बहुत ही छोटे स्मॉल टाउन बीकानेर से हूं और स्टडीज भी यहीं लोकल बीकानेर नोखा में की है मैंने। और जो जहां तक कैरियर काउंसलिंग और जैसा सब्जेक्ट है उसमें मैं तो इस सब्जेक्ट का मास्टर नहीं हूं, लेकिन आई विल ट्राई। लोगों को सबसे जरूरी चीज है वो है, जैसे अजय जी ने बोला, छाजेड़ साहब ने बोला, पैशन। मैं हमेशा स्ट्रेस देता हूं 4P पे। पैशन, आपका पर्पस क्या है, दैट इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। प्रायोरिटीज यू हैव टू डिसाइड, एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज पावर। यदि ये चारों चीज किसी भी बंदे में है तो वो पर्सन कहीं पे भी रीच कर सकता है, मेरा ऐसा मानना है। और सबसे जैसे इन्होंने बोला, छाजेड़ साहब ने, एंटरप्रेन्योर क्वालिटीज होनी चाहिए, जो बेसिकली हम जैन लोगों में जेनेटिक्स में है। ये सारी चीजें बिजनेस हमारे जीन्स में है, उसको हम कोई को सीखने की जरूरत नहीं होती। जैसे शेर को शिकार करने के लिए ट्रेनिंग की जरूरत नहीं, वो शिकार तो कर ही लेता है। तो वैसा ही हमें बिजनेस को सीखने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत नहीं है। मैंने मेडिकल में आने के बाद में MBA करने का ट्राई किया था, तो मेरे एक एस्ट्रोलॉजर ने बोला, यार आपकी तो बिजनेस क्वालिटीज है, आपको क्या बिजनेस सीखने की जरूरत है। कहने का मतलब ये है, रिसर्च इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। आप कोई भी बिजनेस में हो, चाहे मेडिकल में हो चाहे कहीं पे भी, बिजनेस वर्ड यूज नहीं करना चाहिए मेडिकल फील्ड में, लेकिन आपको एक सक्सेस स्टोरी के लिए, जैसे आपने बोला कि कोई आप इम्प्रेस होता है, फिल्म में जाते हो तो आप अमिताभ बच्चन से, अमिताभ बच्चन ने भी फेल्योर्स देखे, सक्सेस भी देखे, फिर फेल्योर हुआ, फिर सक्सेस हुआ। तो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज, आपको एक मेंटर ऐसा सेलेक्ट करना है लाइफ में कि हमें वो गाइड कर सके। तो दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग कि आप अपने लाइफ में एक सक्सेस मॉडल डिसाइड हो, तो आप उसको देख के उस पाथ को चुन सकते हो। लेकिन मैं हमेशा कहूंगा कि वो उनका टाइम था, ये अपना हमारा टाइम है। तो हमें नई नई चीज इन्वेंट करनी है और इनोवेट करनी है। इवन आई ट्रेंड बाय डॉक्टर राणावत न्यूयॉर्क में। जब मैं जॉइंट रिप्लेसमेंट के बारे में जेई नहीं जानता था, आई वेंट ओवर देयर, आई लर्नड एवरीथिंग, लेकिन आई हैव इनोवेटेड माय टेक्निक्स। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हमें मेंटर को फॉलो करते हुए वहीं रहना है, हमें इंडिपेंडेंटली सोचने की कैपेसिटी भी होनी चाहिए, ताकि आपकी सक्सेस स्टोरी, आपके गोल्स स्मार्टर तो उसमें सबसे पहले जब अपन बात करते हैं तो आपका क्या एक्शन है, कैसे आपको सक्सेस बनना है, तो रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड वर्क करना है। तो आपका सबसे जरूरी चीज क्या है, आपका बिहेवियर और आपका एटीट्यूड। आजकल के बच्चों में जो मैं चीज देखता हूं वो क्वाइट स्मार्ट होते हैं, इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं, स्मार्ट होते हैं, लेकिन जो पावर ऑफ वर्क है, हार्ड वर्किंग, वो कहीं मैं मिसिंग देखता हूं। वो यदि साथ में जुड़ जाए तो डेफिनेटली दे विल गेट द सक्सेस। सक्सेस कोई आप रोक ही नहीं सकता। और मैं तो यूएस यूके छोड़ के आचार्य महाप्रज्ञा जी की आज्ञा से या उनके निर्देशन में इंडिया में आया और आज मैं यूके में प्रोफेसर बन गया। तो मतलब आप समझिए कि एक नौका से पढ़ा हुआ बच्चा आज यूके में वहां पे बेस्ट फैकल्टी अवार्ड या आप टीचिंग फैकल्टी, जो मैं इमेजिन नहीं कर सकता। जो मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ, डोंट इमेजिन द लास्ट गोल। अभी आप छोटे छोटे गोल्स बनाइए और उस गोल को टारगेट एवरी वीक एवरी मंथ यू हैव टू असेस योरसेल्फ। मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ छोटे छोटे टारगेट बनाइए और उसको डिसाइड कीजिए क्या उन्होंने अचीवमेंट किया, लास्ट वीक में मैंने क्या लर्न किया, लास्ट मंथ में मैंने क्या लर्न किया। यदि नहीं किया तो वो आपका लैप्स पीरियड आ गया, आपने उस दिन कुछ किया ही नहीं। तो हमें यू हैव टू असेस योरसेल्फ। मैं क्रिटिक्स बाजू में रखता हूं जो मेरे को क्रिटिक करके बता सके कि आपकी ये मिस्टेक है। तो आपकी टीम में वैसे लोग भी होने चाहिए जो आपको ऑल द टाइम सजग कर सके और आपका ईगो नहीं आए। तो क्या होता है कि एक लेवल पे जाने के बाद में सबसे बड़े पावर के साथ में ईगो आ जाता है, तो वो आपका फेलियर का रीजन हो जाता है। तो आपको गाइड करने वाले लोग होने चाहिए, आपको ब्रेक लगाने वाले लोग भी चाहिए जो आपको एक्चुअल पिक्चर दिखा सके कि वेयर यू आर। तो अदरवाइज क्या होता है कि 8-10 साल के कैरियर में सबका लैप्स आ जाता है। यदि आप चाहते हो कि आपकी सक्सेस स्टोरी बनी रहे तो टू बी ऑन ग्राउंड रियलिस्टिक बनिए। आपका बिहेवियर, आपका एटीट्यूड अच्छा होना चाहिए, आपकी हैबिट्स है, दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। हैबिट्स अच्छी रहनी चाहिए तो आप गोल की तरफ, सक्सेस की तरफ बढ़ सकते हैं, उसमें कोई आप रोक नहीं सकता। तो रिसर्च में मैं बोलूंगा कि आप जैसे जिस भी एनवायरनमेंट में रहें, वहां के लोगों के साथ में जो 20 इयर्स 30 इयर्स का एक्सपीरियंस है, तो यू शुड स्पेंड सम टाइम विद देम। तो उससे आपको पता चलेगा कि उन्होंने कहाँ कहाँ हर्डल्स आई उनकी, और उसके लिए वहाँ रियल वहाँ की पॉलिसीज की हर्डल्स है। जैसे यूके में एजुकेशन सिस्टम है तो वहाँ की हर्डल्स है, और वहाँ आप किस लेवल तक पहुँच सकते हो। और यूएस में है, यदि आप यूएस या कनाडा सेटल होना चाहते हो तो वहाँ पे व्हाट विल हैपन विद यू आफ्टर 20 इयर्स। यू हैव टू मेक योर हाइपोथेसिस, योर ओन क्वेश्चंस and try to get the answer before starting your career। तो मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ, काफी लोग क्या होते हैं, मैंने यूके में काफी लोगों को देखा 10 साल के बाद में वो, अरे यार मेरे को अब इंडिया जाना है। मैंने कहा क्यों भाई, अब क्यों जाना है? ये बात आपको पहले सोचनी है जब आप यूके में सेटल होना चाहते हो। यूएस में सेटल होना चाहते हो तो वहां के 20 साल के लोगों से, 20-30 इयर्स के एक्सपीरियंस के लोगों के साथ, आपके सेम फील्ड के लोगों के साथ में यू हैव टू स्पेंड सम टाइम एंड ट्राई टू गेट द आंसर ऑफ योर क्वेश्चन। अदरवाइज आपका फेल्योर निश्चित है। आपके 20 इयर्स के बाद में आपको लगेगा कि अरे यार मैंने ये क्या कर दिया, मेरी फैमिली के साथ में ये हो गया, बच्चों के साथ में ये हो गया। तो यू हैव टू बैलेंस इट कि मेरा फैमिली का कैसा रहेगा, मेरे बच्चों का एनवायरनमेंट कैसा मिलेगा, आफ्टर 20 इयर्स व्हाट विल हैपन विद देम। दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। एक अभी हमारे को एक पैशन रहता है मनी अर्निंग का, और आप एक पैसा एक लेवल तक अर्न करने के बाद में यू विल रियलाइज यू आर लूजर इन ऑल द फील्ड्स। तो खत्म हो गया ना आपका कैरियर, पैसे से आप खत्म, खाली पैसे से कुछ नहीं हो सकता। तो बैलेंस जरूरी है, फैमिली का, आपकी पैशन का, आपके बिजनेस का, आपके जो भी फील्ड में है, मेडिकल फील्ड में है तो उस फील्ड में भी आपका जहां तक रीच करना चाहते हैं, क्या आप वहां पहुंचेंगे, और पहुंचेंगे तो क्या सब लोग आपके साथ होंगे। तो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग है। तो आप अपने गोल डिसाइड करिए, स्मार्टर चलिए, सक्सेस डेफिनेटली मिलेगी। और उसके लिए आपका एक्शन, बिहेवियर, एटीट्यूड, कंडीशनिंग और हैबिट्स, ये सारी चीजों को बैलेंस करना जरूरी है। थैंक यू। जय जिनेंद्र।
Thank you, Hitesh ji. Very well said. Think independent to have smarter goals. Thank you for such kind words. We'll move on to the next speaker. I request Nihal Baid to kindly introduce our next speaker.
Jai Jinendra, everyone. Our next speaker for today is Shripal Jain, CA Shripal Jain ji. He's a CA by qualification. He's a notable educational mogul every student looks up to. After becoming a CA, he ventured into new avenues, going to become a teacher, an author, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, and a notable educational influence. Donning many hats and playing many roles, Shripal ji has transformed lives of millions of students, I personally being one of them. Shripal Jain is the founder of K2 Learning, a premier institute which shapes career for many commerce students. Shripal ji is also founder of India's largest educational fair, Career Utsav, a bridge between students and educational institute. Over to you, Shripal ji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nihal. Happy to know that you were also, I think, a student. And thank you so much, TPF, for having me here. Well, a lot of thoughts coming from all the panelists so far, and I'm also parallelly reading a lot of questions which are there in the chat box. So I will try to address some of them in my conversation, and I will again do a mix of English and Hindi. So I'll start with a statement. The statement says, the problem with all of us, all the students, is that हम लोग जबरदस्ती पढ़ाई करते हैं, जबरदस्त पढ़ाई नहीं करते हैं. Okay, that's the problem statement. And this happens because many a times we don't know why are we studying a particular subject or a topic. Now, let me make the second statement. Now, the first statement was jabardasti and jabardast. You know, the difference, I'm sure you're able to make it out well. The second statement is priorities in life keeps on changing. How many of you agree with me? Let's have some interaction. How many of you agree with me? Priorities in life keeps on changing. You can put in the chat box if it is a yes or a thumbs up. Brilliant. Okay, most of you believe, correct. I will give you one example now. When I was in class 8, about 20-25 years back, class 8, Salem, Tamil Nadu, even 8th was a board exam that time. So my family across told me, beta 8th hai, focus karo. I said, okay. I started focusing. I somehow cleared my 8th standard. I thought I'm successful in life. Then I asked, look, 8वीं हो गया, am I successful? They said, no. दुनिया में 10th board exam से बढ़कर कुछ नहीं होता है. Then I said, ठीक है. Started working on 10th board examination. I got 52% marks. I thought I'm successful. I again asked people, look, 52% 10th standard, am I successful? They said, नहीं, 10th board exam तो कुछ नहीं. Second PUC is a turning point of your life, they told me. अरे बाप रे, I didn't know what to do now. ठीक है, अब सोचा कि ये सक्सेस होगा शायद. I focused on class 12, second PU board exam. I got 34 in maths, 35 in statistics. Somehow cleared my class 12 board exam. I thought I'm successful now. Again, I asked, look, am I successful now? 8th हो गया, 10th हो गया, 12th हो गया. They said, no. You have taken commerce. Unless you write some entrance exam, there is no value, they told me. CA foundation लिखा, clear किया, सोचा successful हूँ. फिर मैंने पूछा, look, am I successful now? They said, no, CA, CPT is a inky, pinky, ponky, father as a wronky guess. Anybody can clear. कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. Unless you write CA inter, there is no value, they told me. Inter में पहुंचा, मेहनत की, clear किया, फिर लगा कि successful हूँ. मैंने पूछा मेरे आसपास के लोगों से कि, look, am I successful now? They said, no. Unless you finish 3 years of your articleship, there is no value. आर्टिकल शुरू हुई, खत्म हुई, सोचा अब सक्सेसफुल हूं, पूछा फिर से, कहा नहीं, unless you get these 2 letters with your name called CA Shripal Jain, there is no value, they told me. ऐसे ठीक है, फिर से लगे मेहनत करने, CA बन गए. अभी लगा कि शायद मैं सक्सेसफुल हूं. फिर से मैंने लोगों से पूछा, look, am I successful now? They said, no, life actually begins now. They said, life actually begins now. मैंने कहा अब क्या करना है? देखो CA तो बहुत लोग बनते हैं, getting job is important. I got a job. I asked, look, am I successful now? They said, no. Job to theek hai. The objective why you wanted to become a chartered accountant is so that we can get you married. The objective of my family for me to study was somehow to get me married. शादी हो गया, सोचा आप सक्सेसफुल हूं. मैंने फिर से पूछा, देखो 8th हो गया, 10th हो गया, 12th टर्निंग पॉइंट ऑफ माय लाइफ हो गया. फाउंडेशन, इंटर, आर्टिकलशिप, फाइनल, ITT, GMCS, ओरिएंटेशन, दुनिया भर की चीजें कर ली. Am I successful now? शादी भी हो गया. They said, no. Now, don't think too much. They said promotion in job is important. Then they said kids is important. Then they said kids ka school ka admission is important. Then they said kids should not get into wrong company became priority in my life. And my dear friend, one fine day, I am sure my son's 10th board exam would be more critical in my life than my own 10th board exam. And like this, the priorities in life keeps on changing. The problem is we probably have never understood how do we ensure that any moment of our life we are happy about what you're doing, and that happiness would come if and only if you're excited about what you're doing. I'll give you one more example because I'm sure it's only 6 minutes allotted to me. I'll give an example and tell me if you align with this. Imagine I want to buy a t-shirt, and these are the following steps I follow, and tell me, am I normal or abnormal? Step 1, I go to a mall. Step 2, I go to the brand shop which I like the most. Step 3, I see some 10, 20, 30 t-shirts which are in display. I pick up 2 or 3 of them. I go to the trial room. I take a trial of those t-shirts. I come out and show it to my people around कि देखो ठीक लग रहा है कि नहीं ठीक लग रहा है. People have comment. I want to check कि ये color अच्छा लग रहा नहीं लग रहा, ये quality of cloth अच्छा है नहीं, fitting ठीक है नहीं है, and then I take a decision about buying a t-shirt. My dear friends, a t-shirt would cost me about 2, 3,000, 5,000 rupees. And before spending these few thousand rupees, I want to take a trial of it. I want to be sure about the money which I spent on t-shirt should not go for a waste, and I take a trial of it. And how much is it costing me? About few thousand rupees. And if I am so much conscious about spending these few thousand rupees for a t-shirt, do you think we are of the same thought process when we take a decision about career? My dear friends, हम करियर कैसे चुनते हैं? पापा ने कहा सीए बन जाओ, अंकल ने कहा इंजीनियरिंग में बहुत स्कोप है, and we take random decisions about career. My dear friends, please understand, the decision about your career has to be a combination of your personality, of your interest and your aptitude. A combination of all these three will decide what would be the best, which would suit you the best. We talk about 500 different career options available, and depending upon the personality, interest and aptitude, it is your duty to shortlist and make 10. And out of these 10, do more research, meet more people, understand what is that they are supposed to offer to you. Have you ever thought कि मैं लॉयर बनने से पहले 3 महीने लॉयर के ऑफिस में काम कर लूं और पता चल जाए कि एक लॉयर पूरे दिन में करता क्या है, उसके बाद डिसाइड करूं कि मुझे लॉयर बनना है कि नहीं बनना है? ऐसी सोच शायद नहीं है. My dear friends, my request to all of you would be, please do not take random decisions about your career. It has to be a very, very, very scientific approach, and there are ways how you can take scientific decision about your career, and there are experts who can help you on this. So if a decision about t-shirt cannot be random, career is what you're going to live the rest of your whole life with. So I'll be happy to take any specific question. I'm sure there are a lot of questions around which talks about CA, ACCA or CFMA क्या difference है, commerce लेने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए, science लो, commerce लो. All those questions I'll be happy to answer probably once we take the Q&A session. But with this note, my only closing statement would be, do what you love to do. Every career has a scope, provided you are excited about it. So with this note, thank you all of you once again having me here. Jai Janendra. Thank you.
Thank you, Shripalji. Very well said. And the way you suggested that let's not take random decisions. Thank you so much for that. We'll move on to our next speaker of the day, CA Pranay Nahar. So I would like to introduce Pranay Nahar. Pranay Nahar is a chartered accountant and a BCom graduate. He's an IRS by profession. He cleared in 2018 batch. Presently, he's posted as Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax. A warm welcome to you, Pranay ji. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha ji. Thank you, Terapan Professional Forum, for having me. It's my great pleasure to be here and talking with my young dear friends. First of all, my previous speakers have made my job easier. So all the four speakers have given different aspects. So I think they have made my job very much easier. So I have to just give finishing touches. So, dear friends, about career, my previous speaker has said life can change. Life can take any turn at any point of time. So it's not that you will decide right now that you will be a chartered accountant and do your firm or go in some big four MNC or like that. So the life can take turns at any point of time. As my previous speaker said, some doctor is leading a technologically oriented companies. So these things will happen. So it's don't think about short term. Like if you are thinking that I want to be a chartered accountant or I want to do an MBA, it's not into your hands. So if you are doing it right now in 10th or 9th standard, so you can't be very adamant about what you want to do. So because life can take any turn. If you are a good manager, if you are a good management consultant, you will go in management consultancy. If you are good innovator, if you have good ideas, you may go leading some business, become a CEO. So life can take any turn, so that aspect you should always have in mind. I mainly want to say few points that will help you in your career aspect. So first thing, have a mentor, don't have an idol. So what will have, if you are having an idol, you will follow every step of him, right or wrong. But have a mentor who will guide you. That is required because everyone's personality, everyone's circumstances, everyone's background is different. No one is unique in their own aspect. दो भाई जुड़वा भाई भी same नहीं होते हैं. They will go in different field. So everyone's circumstances and background is different. So have a mentor, but don't have an idol. You will just worship him, but you won't go ahead of your idol. So have a mentor इसलिए जरूरी है because he knows what is wrong, what mistakes she has committed. So for not repeating those mistakes, or for not repeating those mistakes at huge cost, you should have a mentor. So that is my experience from UPSC. I cleared my third UPSC in third attempt. So first attempt was my problem with mentor. I did not have a mentor. Second and third attempt I had a mentor. I just cracked it. So that's the important. You should always have a mentor. And another thing is, everyone's strategy is different. So if I'm saying somebody wants to do a chartered accountant and he will consult some chartered accountant already qualified, so he will have his own even a ranker one will have his own strategy. Not necessarily you should follow his strategy only. You devise your strategy, devise your timing according to your circumstances. So that is the main critical point in your preparation for professional studies till graduation, post graduation. Devise strategies as per your circumstances. Third important is having friends. So this thing will always be, I think, for friends company, wherever, if you are in hostel, you are in college, so you will learn a lot many things from your friends rather from your teachers. So have a good friends and learn from your friends. So that will be the most critical important thing. I learned from my chartered accountant friends, I learned from my batchmate in Indian Revenue Service. So that aspect has helped me a lot in my journey till now. Fourth is, right now the problem is with of plenty. So people of this generation, because of explosion of internet, vast availability of information and expectation from the society, there is problem of plenty. So hundreds of career options will be there, but you don't get confused. Problem of plenty will always be there, whether in deciding a career option or whether in reading some study material. So there will always be a problem of plenty. Everyone will convince you that this aspect is better, this strategy is better, but don't fall in that trap. You have a mentor, discuss with someone, and then choose the curriculum, then choose the syllabus, then choose the field accordingly. So there is a problem of plenty which this generation is facing right now. Last but not the least is sports. I think this aspect is missing very much in our generation, specifically in our community. So you should have one sport or one game skill within you, because it's not about learning or going outside. It's about, it teaches you about accepting the defeat. There will be a winner and loser. Winner will be happy, but loser will learn from the sports. That aspect and that attitude will take you forward in your profession, because there will be always difficult times, whether in your profession or whether in your career. So the attitude that you develop while playing sports, any sport, I'm indoor sport, outdoor sports, any sport, but that attitude will help you in overcoming the challenges that you will face in your profession and in career. So always have a one sport. It may benefit you also, it may give you admission on sports quota. That is secondary thing, I'm not talking about that. So attitude and health, that will it's a rejuvenation. You need time out of your curriculum, out of your profession. Take any big businessman or anyone, they will read books, they will play game. It's not that you will read 24 hours, they'll be in business there 24 hours. So have a sports, be a sportive, have developed that attitude to accept the defeats, because it will be a challenging game outside. The world outside is very competitive. You have to fight for half an hour, half marks, 1 marks each For one score, for every increment you will have to fight. There is a competitive world going on outside, so you will have to develop that competitive attitude, and that will come from sports. Last but not the least, this is the most important. I think many parents have also joined here. So I think the career of your child is 50% dependent on you. Don't burden them with unreasonable expectations. Don't put your wishes on them. That अरे नहीं, मैं तो ये नहीं बनना, तूने ये बनना चाहिए. Don't put your wishes on them. Have a dialogue with your kids. That's the most important thing. Having a dialogue. They should tell every bits and pieces of their life to you. That is the most important thing. They should see a friend in you. So for parents, that would be my advice. Have a conversation with them, develop a right attitude, and develop a free communication, so that child will convey his every vulnerability, his every weakness to you, so that you can empower him and be a strength to him. Don't just give him a guide, be a good supporter to him. That's the most important thing that I have learned and I have seen throughout my journey. So this will be these are the few points that I would like to highlight. So thank you so much for having me here. It is a great pleasure to be here. If anyone wants any career counseling, any mentorship for UPSC related, anyone can text me or anyone can email me anytime. I will be there to guide you every day, now and every step of UPSC preparation, because I've just recently qualified. So with these words, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pranayji, for your kind words. We will now move on to the question and answer session. So firstly, we had received certain questions from the participants in the group. So I'll just take a few and then we will move on to the questions pasted on the chat box, and then the participants can also unmute themselves and ask questions to our speakers. So the first question which the participant has asked is, what after MBA and how? So if any panelist would want to answer this, Hitesh ji or anyone for that matter, request you to kindly please take it up.
Can I go with this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. I think what after MBA, what has been asked, I think I have been very clear from right one go that, you know, whether you do MBA, whether you do CA, whether you do software engineering or whatever, I always believe that don't get carried away by anything, boss. You are, if you are good at managing people, if you are good at managing human beings, I think आपने आधा गढ़ तो ऐसे ही जीत लिया. आपको कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. जिस टाइम पे आपका ह्यूमन इंटरेक्शन सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है, हम लोगों को अगर देखा होगा तो बोलते हैं कि अगर अच्छा सक्सेसफुल इंसान बनना है तो सामने वाले को बॉटल में उतारना आना चाहिए. मैं हमेशा ये मानता हूँ, ये अपना वाक चातुर्य जो होता है, ये हमको लॉन्ग लेके जाता है. And I always tell my son also, I am not worried that you get 100% marks, 98, 95, 97, मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए. मैं हमेशा मेरे लड़के को यही बोलता हूँ कि बॉस तू पास हो जा, कोई टेंशन नहीं है. अच्छे मार्क्स से पास होता है तो हम लोग बहुत खुश होंगे, लेकिन कोई प्रेशर नहीं है. अपने पैशन को फॉलो कर और अपनी कम्युनिकेशन इंप्रूव कर ले. आई ओनली वांट यू टू कम्युनिकेट द बेस्ट. और अगर तू कम्युनिकेट कर लेगा तो जिंदगी में कहीं पे भी तेरे को पीछे देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. तो मैं ये मानता हूँ एमबीए करने के बाद में भी आप रुको मत. एमबीए करने के बाद में तो आपकी स्किल सेट बहुत अप हो जाती है. तो आपका कोई गोल रहेगा, आपका कोई पैशन रहेगा, एमबीए करने के लिए एक मकसद रहेगा कि मैंने क्यों एमबीए किया है, तो आप उस पैशन को ही फॉलो करने के लिए एमबीए कर रहे हो. तो एमबीए के बाद में क्या, देखिए मैं ये बोलता हूँ डिग्री का तो कोई अंत नहीं है. आप एमबीए कर लोगे, फिर बाद में बोलोगे मैं और एक एलएलबी कर लूंगा, फिर मैं और कर लूंगा, फिर मैं और कर लूंगा. डिग्री से कुछ नहीं होना है. आप अपनी एजुकेशन को प्रैक्टिकली कैसे अप्लाई करते हो अपने रियल लाइफ में. मैं आपको एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल देता हूं कि अगर आप कोई जॉब भी कर रहे हो तो जॉब में भी आपको अपनी एमबीए की डिग्री क्वालिफाई कर, आपकी एमबीए की थिंक की प्रैक्टिकलिटी ही आपको अप्लाई करनी है. भले आप एक सीए हो, आप कोई जॉब कर रहे हो, तो आपको अपनी जो प्रैक्टिकल थिंकिंग है उसी को तो अप्लाई करके सब कुछ करना है. तो कुछ ऐसा रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है बॉस. आपका जो डिग्री है, इट इज ओनली वन प्लेटफॉर्म ऑन विच यू हैव टू बिल्ड योर करियर. It is only that you have to go on improving your skill set and become a better individual in order to be successful. As simple as that. ज्यादा वरी मत करो बॉस. अपने अपने करियर के लिए इतना ज्यादा वरी मत करो. सबका करियर तय है, आप अपने आप तय करती हो. पैशन जहाँ पे है वहां पे फॉलो करके अगर आप करोगे तो ना सिर्फ आप अपने करियर में आगे बढ़ोगे, बट हंसी खुशी एंजॉय करते हुए आप उसको आगे बढ़ते जाओगे और सक्सेस रेट बहुत हाई होगा उस टाइप पे. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
I'll just add one or two lines on that. I think we often confuse between what our target or destiny is, and what tools we have. So the education that we look at, whether it's MBA, engineering, CA, those are the tools for you to achieve your destination. What is more important is to emphasize and focus on what is it that will make you happy, what is it that's a charter that you want to set for yourself. And I think that is a more relevant question than trying to do a course or a B course kind of approach. I think that's just adding to what Hitesh just mentioned in his talk.
Thank you so much, Hitesh and Ajay. We'll move on to the next question. What are the best options after 10th or 12th for a commerce student? The most popular professional courses being CA, CS, MBA. Is there any other career path? I think most of the questions pasted on the chat box is closely related to this question.
Sure. Can I take this up?
Sure, sir.
Fair. So first of all, what is the best option after 10th? See, if you look at the current education system in India, at least they give you a choice between art, science, and commerce. That is how I would say the technical answer part of it. But which option is better? And since most of them are also talking about CA kind of a thing, though taking up commerce may be an advantage for you to take up the chartered accountancy program, but let me share some data, some statistics with you now. In fact, a student who takes up science and comes to a CA has been more successful in CA than a commerce student. And there are so many examples for that, I'll tell you the reason also for that. The reason is a science student knows for the fact that he or she does not know anything about debit and credit. They learn it properly. Commerce students many a times only assume that they know something about debit credit, actually when they don't know. This is reason number one. Reason number two, if you look at science students are generally considered to be very hardworking people. Commerce is a little casual approach. ऐसा लगता है बहुत easy है, मतलब ऐसे ही कर लेंगे, मतलब exam के एक महीने पहले guide खरीद लेंगे, और pass हो जाएंगे, मतलब science is not like that. So my personal recommendation, irrespective of which career you want to take it forward, if it's a professional career in CA also, there's nothing wrong if you take up science and then come to CA. That is one option. But having said this, there's no restriction as such. Okay, this is one part of the thing. The second thing is whether or not you want to become a chartered accountant or any professional career in the space of commerce and finance. My answer would be something like this. Try to get as much clarity and as much visibility possible about next 6 months, next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. Say, for example, take a paper pen, write down the subjects, chapters, topic, take a paper pen, talk to people, write down the kind of work, what you are expected to do after becoming a chartered accountant. Try to see whether this life really relates with what you really want in your life. In fact, I have one of my best friend. We were roommates. We did CA together. He's a rank holder in CA final, inter, dono mein all India single digit rank. He works now for Hotel Taj in Mumbai as a bartender. He was interviewed in Mumbai Mirror once, about 8-9 years back. कि अगर आपको bartending करना था तो CA क्यों किया? And his answer was, Papa ne bol diya tha. I was not interested, and you should look at the kind of excitement and happiness he has when he's doing his bartending job. He's super excited and he is paid about 36 lakhs per annum. Trust me, best of the CAs don't get so much money in their career, in the beginning, at least, for sure. So the point here is, it's important that you're passionate about what you're doing. The difference, the technical difference, we can talk in length in terms of the subjects, the articleship, the kind of work, what you're supposed to know, all that. This debate, this discussion can go on for long. So to answer, if CA is the goal, science or commerce will not matter. Commerce could be slightly advantageous. That's the answer. If it is any other career other than the CA in commerce, it could be CS, it could be CMA, which was called ICW before. It could be CPA, CFA, CMA, CIA. There are multiple options like that. I think for now, till the time you write the CA foundation exam and get slightly more matured, keep your options open for everything. Okay, write your foundation, get it cleared. I think over the period of next 2 years, most of the students who write this exam will be slightly more mature to take decision at that point in time. So today, even if I tell some differences, it might be difficult for to relate because this is more technical. So that's the conclusion in terms of whether CA or not, and whether which course or which entrance exam should be writing. Yeah. Anything more specific? Yeah, Lakshmi.
I want to add one point.
Yes.
Irrespective of commerce or science, see today there's always this conventional path of CFA, CMA, CA. If you find, because most of youngsters today are all tuned to internet and mobile, so if you find passion about that, you can also learn a lot of digital marketing courses, and that has got massive demand. The demand is never going to stop. Digital marketing, how to get things done. So, and if you, and that it will open up a lot of doors for you. Even you might not know, let's say you might not be a technology graduate, but knowing digital marketing itself is a great thing. And digital marketing is everybody, small company, big company, multinational, they all use it. So वो भी एक है ऑप्शन. ऐसा नहीं है कि खाली डिजिटल मार्केटिंग सीखने के लिए इंजीनियरिंग का साइंस होना चाहिए, कोई भी कर सकता है. उसके लिए बहुत सारे कोर्सेज हैं, यूडेमी है, कोर्सेरा है, पर हाँ प्रैक्टिस करना है कि मैं कैसे करूं. Shraddha, you can go to the next question.
Thank you so much, Shripalji and Lakshmipatji. We'll move on to the next question. If one wants to become a doctor, when should they start and what are the options? Dhirajji, any light on this?
Can I add to this?
Sure, Shripalji.
Yeah, so see, obviously, now the country has moved towards a national exam which is called NEET now, NEET. National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test is the examination which is mandatory for you to become an MBBS doctor. And all these state level exam, which used to be CET kind of a thing, is kind of getting scrapped. There are also a few other, recognized institutions like AIMS and JIPMER, which is still existing. So AIMS and JIPMER are the two other entrance exam for the medical stream, which is still existing. But majority of the population is preparing for NEET. I think that is the single window, the single examination which is mandatory for you to become a MBBS doctor in India. Now, this exam happens immediately after your class 12, and the preparation for this, there are children who start as early as from class 9 onwards. But my personal take would be that even if you start after class 10, which is along with class 11, 12, 2 years of focused preparation for your board exam along with the NEET exam preparation is good enough for you to crack this examination. So NEET is the only route for you to become an MBBS doctor in India. I hope I answered this.
Yeah,
I'll just add a few more lines here. My sister is a doctor and my son, is on that path. So I think once you are saying you have to become a doctor, you got to carefully choose that path because it's a long and arduous path, requiring 10 to 12 years of real hard work, but real satisfying, outcome post that. And, I completely agree that, after 10th, if you align yourself to prepare for NEET, it gives you a very good, leverage. The other important aspect is, unlike JEE, you have only one exam for NEET. So it's one second week of May, you either crack it or you basically get cracked, and so everything has to get cumulated into that, this one. And your ranking at national and state level decides basically the kind of options you're going to get. So 50% of the state, the seats are meant for the state ranking, and 85 and 15. 85 is for state, and 15% is for all India quota. And for PG it is 50-50, and the ratio of PG to UG is sort of skewed up. So what it means, it's an inverted pyramid. You get into and you have to be at the top in case you want to actually make a real career out of medicine. Again, it's a fantastic profession. My kid is there, my sister is doing well, but it's a long drawn arduous path. And if you're going to compare that against any profession like engineering and something else, I think the expectations have to be set, from day one.
True. And just a fallback option, obviously, if you look at the number of seats, versus the number of people who aspire for this, there are roughly about 17 lakh people who appeared for NEET 2021, and there were less than, I think, 110,000, seats available. So the ratio to the number of seats available in India to the number of aspirants to this is very, very large. So the follow-up option would be people take up dentistry, could be the next option if the MBBS is not cracked. And then if not dentistry, then there's some, okay. So obviously a lot of people then probably give a 1 year break again and write for the exam once again could be the option. Some of them want to go abroad. So these are different options available. But yes, to be more specific to your question, when do we start preparation? My personal take would be immediately after class 10. 2 years of preparation would be the answer.
Thank you so much, Shripalji and Ajayji. We'll move on to the next question. So one of the participants says, I love to sketch and paint and want to develop my career in the same field. Please suggest for the same. Any panelist?
If
I answered on the chat. I want to just, and then others can also interject. See, for paint and sketch, people who have natural interest and understanding, they can do it. And there is also formal education happens in arts and arts colleges. There is a famous JJ Arts College in Mumbai, and there would be also in Bangalore, even in Bangalore. और उसको प्रोफेशन में जैसे आई थिंक श्रीपाल हितेश जी ने बताया कि यू हैव टू बी एंटरप्रेन्योर. जो पेंट है कि आप घर में पेंट बना के नोबडी इज गोइंग टू कम टू यू. यू हैव टू बी एंटरप्रेन्योर इन नेचर. सो आप अपना जो स्केच बनाते हैं, पेंट बताते हैं, यू हैव टू प्रमोट योरसेल्फ कि मैंने ये पेंटिंग ऑनलाइन कीजिए, ऑफलाइन कीजिए, कुछ एग्जीबिशन कीजिए. इफ यू हैव दैट एबिलिटी बियॉन्ड जस्ट बीइंग आर्टिस्ट, तो ही आप उस प्रोफेशन में आगे जा सकते हैं. क्योंकि वो प्रोफेशन ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको कोई ये तुरंत जॉब दे देगा, क्योंकि दिस इज ऑन योर ओन सेल्फ प्रोफेशन. तो उसमें आपको काम अपना प्रमोट करना आना चाहिए. वो एक स्किल इंपॉर्टेंट है. पेंटिंग में खाली पेंट करना इज वन पार्ट. एनीथिंग विच इज आर्ट्स रिलेटेड या जो क्रिएटिविटी है, उसमें आपको अपना बताना पड़ेगा ना. तो उसके लिए या तो आपके पास ऐसा कोई फ्रेंड, ब्रदर, सिस्टर को जो प्रमोट कर सके, या तो यू शुड हैव बी एबल टू डू इट. खाली पेंटिंग करके आई डोंट थिंक नोबडी इज गोइंग टू कम टू यू.
So from a professional perspective, I definitely second with what Lakshmi has told. From a career perspective, if I have to add about, I think the students who are in class 7, 8, 9 or 10 and who are excited about drawing and painting and stuffs, they should definitely explore a career by writing NATA, NIFT, NID. These are different entrance exams. To get into National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad is extremely popular. You should look at this website called Mad Over Design, where you can really understand the kind of opportunities what the design schools these days provide, basically. So there are many. In fact, in Bangalore recently, there's an institution called Pearl Academy, which is opened, which talks about design as a career, and they have multiple options there. So from a choosing a career perspective, along with class 11, 12, if you want to prepare for NID or NIFT entrance exam or NATA to get into architecture, basically. So these are the career options what you can look at if you are, as a personality, if you're inclined towards art and design. So that's the career path around it.
Thank you, Shripalji. It was very informative. We'll move on to the next question. I had this question. So say we have completed our studies and now we are in job. And now I feel that I need to continue with my studies to add on value to my job. So what suggestion do you all as a panelist would give to us? What should we choose, and how should we continue with the job that we have currently?
You have to give a brief about your degree and your job, so people can answer that.
Yeah, so I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I work with a Big Four in direct taxation practice. And it's been closely more than 5 years since I am in the DT field. And now I want to do something, I want to add a value, or I would say I would want to increase my knowledge. So say it could be law, or taking a certification course or a diploma course, or probably going abroad. So, but I have a lot of options in my mind. At the same time, I also have in mind that I have a full-time job. So how should we do this?
So I can take this up. See, in fact, the entire edtech space, the kind of boom it is at, whether I talk about grade up or upgrade or great learning, these people have got a lot of, options which can be done along with your job. These can be short-term, again, kind of a certificate program, or they also have now partnered with a lot of reputed universities across the globe, where they also give you a degree being online. So you don't have to spend too much of time. So this is, I'm talking about, what is the next step, what you take to ensure that you also grow at your professional, field, wherever you're working, So I would say there is a huge menu list, you can pick and choose what you want actually. In fact, it is so much dynamic that I think you will be falling short of the kind of choices what you can make there, basically. Again, it depends upon which area you want to specialize in and what kind of opportunities that certificate or degree may add to your career at this point in time. So there are multiple options. As I mentioned, these 3-4 websites which just came on top of my mind, and there could be 20 more like that, basically, which offer you online certificate or a degree program partnered with multiple universities across the globe. So those are the areas where you should definitely look at.
Thank you, Shripalji. I hope this question many others would definitely have in one or the other point in time. We'll move on to the next question.
Shraddha, if I can add here, I think
Sure,
there are
sir.
a lot of fintech companies, which basically are advertising the kind of roles and expectations they have from financial thing. There is a domain expertise, and there is the ability to manage the startups in terms of taking them to scale and getting them listed in India. I think if you look at the top fintech companies that are in India and look at the kind of work that they are doing, and then bring in your expertise from a domain perspective, I think you'll get all the answers in terms of how you should modulate your career going along. Because what you see today is just a start, in the way the fintech, industry is changing, and it's only going to get accelerated in the time to come, and there'll be more and more demand, in this new age area, as we go along.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ajayji. Now we open the floor for discussion. Any students, participants who are part of this call would like to unmute and ask questions, you may please proceed. We have 70 plus participants.
Jai Jinendra, this is Suhani.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
Suhan.
Yeah, so as Lakshmi, as sir, one of the sir answered that I should pursue for like my degree course in drawing or something. But like because of some issues, I cannot move out of my place and like go there and have a degree. So recently I'm pursuing my bachelor's of arts. So like with that, and I'm learning a French language along with it. So what are the opportunities for the same?
So if I've understood right, so you are pursuing your graduation online because you're not able to move out of your place. Am I right?
No, like I'm pursuing my graduation in my nearby college.
Okay. So your question is there, so you're learning French and you're also learning you're doing your graduation from a nearby college. So what is the career options available? Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there would be a few questions around it. So you're doing your BCA program, or what is the or BDES you're doing, or what is the course you're
So
doing?
it's basic bachelor's of arts.
Okay, you're doing your BA now. Okay, fine. See, again, I may not have a very specific answer at this point in time. I may probably need little more detailing from you. So probably we can connect one-on-one. I may need more details about your, which area you specialize in that, and what are the PG options available from a course perspective and also from a job perspective. So I will be either able to get some more details and have more specific answers, or I'll be happy to connect with a lot of senior professors in, some of the top universities in design and arts who will be able to answer these questions to you. Correct. So probably I can share my email ID post this session. You can write down to me, and then probably I'll connect with the right people who can actually answer this better.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
And one more question, like as I already asked in the chat box, if I'm learning a French language, then there are just two options available, like either translation, either either in tourism industry or either in teaching industry. So the translation part is done by the online thing, the Google Translator and all. But and for teaching industry it's just like we need to teach students, or somehow we need to connect to people and make them learn the language. And the third part is, what are the options available in tourism industry? Like with all these COVID restrictions and protocols, what are the opportunities for the same in French language? If we are learning the same, what are the opportunities?
So Suhani ji, I think Ajay had given a good answer on the chat about how tourism industry is changing and metaverse and multiple things. So did you get that, what his perspective?
So my frank answer on that is, anything that is being done humanly in terms of translation and all will get automated, and you will basically use the tools and machines that are available to create the experience that you need. Okay. Having said that, with your expertise in French, why don't you look at building something, which actually can be your avatar, or it can help some of these tools to do better. So move away from being, an individual helper to sort of, look at collectively what tool or what platform you can help to do better. Because my guess is that we'll move away from this, human centric efforts in translation and all to more avatars and more automated ways of doing, doing things. So the impact that you'll have as an individual in terms of giving your services will be far more limited compared to you actually aiding in building a tool which can help many more people as we go along.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
We'll move on to the next participant.
Jai Shinendra, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, your voice is echoing, but it's okay.
Yeah. So my question is related to data analytics. So as I've heard from many people that in data analytics, the main thing is coding, the statistics and mathematics. So my background is mainly in coding and statistics. So I wanted to ask Ajay sir if mathematics has more weightage or statistics. And I'm ready to learn mathematics actually private. Like I need a suggestion on this.
So that's a great question. I think the early use cases of data science were all related to statistics, coming from a mathematical background. And effectively what people did was they took the data, took them in Excel sheet and tried to figure out what inferences or what kind of trend they're able to figure out from that, isn't it? Now, as we went along and businesses started to make more sense of the data and they started to lean more on the data in terms of making the decisions, what became very, very relevant is the amount of tools and technologies that were available. So if you look at all the cloud providers from Microsoft to Amazon to Google, they already have a lot of engines built in, which helps you to sort of get to that inferencing. So you have two ways to look at it. Either you look at building deep expertise in mathematics, or you actually sort of leverage the tools. AutoML is what is called, which is actually democratization of machine learning models. You actually become a consumer of that, and then try to churn out inferences and decision-making powers to different enterprises and organizations. The other thing I would suggest is slightly narrow down your focus. Say data science and data analysis is a big enough ocean to look at. You try to verticalize that and say, okay, I'm interested in fintech. Within fintech, what are the problems? If I'm in retail, what are the problems that I'm seeing in that industry? And then how can I basically use those problems and use data science and data analysis to work towards that? I hope that makes sense for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
But it's a great question, Harsh. I never expected that people are interested in data analytics.
Yes, sir.
You are in what, 10th grade, 12th grade?
Sir, I'm doing BCA second year at St. Joseph's College, Bangalore.
Okay, that's why. You are in second year engineering.
BCA, I'm doing BCA, Bachelor's in Computer Application.
Good, very good.
So very simple, one language like Python, one visualization tool, one data science platform, and figure out in vertical what kind of problems you're looking at. If you actually get this combination correct, you'll do good for yourself.
Sure, sir. I'll try on it. Thank you.
And just to add on what Ajay said, to make you very simple, just focus on one language, Python. That's it. Your entry to corporate world is given.
Yes, sir. I learned C, C++, C Sharp, and Python. I'm just a beginner now.
Before you complete your BCA, get expertise in Python. Your entry point is mostly guaranteed into any of the IT organizations.
Okay, done, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ajay ji. We'll move on to the next participant.
Jai Jinendra, this is Sapna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sapna.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask one question. I am an architect. I'm working as a job professional. I have expertise in C, C++, Java, and architecture softwares as well. But mainly, as nowadays, I'm looking at many new openings and many people, it's become trend to become entrepreneur and many other things. I do watch Shark Tank India daily. So I'm inspired a little bit from this. And I just want to combine my skills and become an entrepreneur. So what are the basic steps so that I can follow, or what are the new upcoming things so that I can focus on that and become an entrepreneur?
Ajay, this question for you.
Sure. So let me give you a few things. I think in a lot of cases, being an entrepreneur is like, a glorified entity, so to speak. And entrepreneurship is not about a transition where one day you wake up and say, okay, I'm going to become an entrepreneur today. I think what entrepreneurship means is your ability to take responsibility, your ability to own decisions, and your ability to execute on the decisions that you have taken. I think those are the traits that you sort of exhibit, and that you do both inside the organization as well as outside the organization. Now, when do you actually go on your own and try to become an entrepreneur, or so-called you can be titled as an entrepreneur when you actually sort of figure out a problem or idea that you feel that is going to make a huge impact, and because of the impact it will have the relevance to the ecosystem, and by the way, you'll either have an impact or you'll make money and things like that. So that is a definition of entrepreneurship. The other thing that I should actually also add here, if you look at any art movie, you'll see a lot of praises coming for the actors and the directors and the people who make make movies around that. But the amount of hardship that they go through, and the amount of the rigor that they go through in terms of making money is humongous. Now, entrepreneurship is something like that. It's basically easy to have a title and get accolades, but it's not an easy journey, so to speak. For example, I tasted my first success after 18 years of being in startups. And maybe I enjoyed it, maybe I liked it, maybe I was determined to do it. But if you enjoy, you should do entrepreneurship. You should not do entrepreneurship because that's a fad, as of today. And you can be an entrepreneur even within the job and the work that you are doing. That's another thing that you should keep in mind.
And just to add one more dimension to it, because you are an architect and you want to become an entrepreneur. So one is that companies like Home, and we also have, what is the name of the company, which is that Bojani's company? We are doing this home decor at scale. I forgot the company name. It's a Bangalore-based company.
Homeland.
No, Homeland is one. There is other. Rahulji, are you there?
Design Cafe.
Design Cafe is another startup company, but it's a very high scale. So that's, you should look into it and see that what they are doing. And they have ability to do some 45 or 50 interior homes at the same time in different cities. So the scale is there.
I would suggest even further, look at metaverse, look at designing, virtual space, which is, 5 digital, which gets the best of physical and digital thing, and that will be area which you can intercept in 2 years from now.
Yep. That's another good thing.
No, actually, I'm working as a Homeline as a design partner, freelancing, but I'm not like happy with it mainly. So yeah, that's I'm looking at something else.
So entrepreneurship is the right path, but as Ajay told, it has to be something which comes through determination. It's a rocky ride. It is not very smooth and linear ride.
Yeah.
There is lots of ups and downs. It's not for everyone.
So right now you have a luxury to say you are not happy. Once you're an entrepreneur, you lose that luxury as well.
Okay.
It's not a linear path. We can go to the next one.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next question. I see certain participants raising hands. Rakshit, would you like to unmute and let us know the questions?
Jai Jinendra, I'm Rakshit's sister. I'm attending it on behalf of him.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I would like to post 2 questions. First one being, I'm currently pursuing CA and I'll be writing my inter exam in May. But I'm not sure about the options available after that, like about my internship. Where should I exactly do my internship, in a Big 4 or a firm? And I just heard a few people talking about them specializing in banking or tax. So if I could get a brief on that. And my second question being, I have my cousins who have entered into commerce now. And they keep asking me if they should be pursuing CA, CFA or ACCA, or is it just better to do MBA? So if any of the panelists could address that, like, make a comparison between the options available. Sorry, because many of the commerce students after 12th, they have this doubt, which course should we pursue further? And now there are many other options like BBA, FNA, international courses. So if someone could just answer these two questions.
Sure. I missed your name. Sorry.
I'm Pragya.
Pragya, I think you have asked me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions in this one question. Okay, I'll take up one by one and try to answer. So the first question you asked is, where should you do your articleship? So, so here it definitely depends upon what is that you want to do after you qualify as a CA. So assuming that you want to go and start your own practice, okay, then my answer would be do your articleship from a mid-sized firm where you get a lot of exposure to talk to clients directly. You get a lot of exposure to do a lot of finalization by yourself, because generally in a big four, what would happen is you may probably be part of the processes which are already defined, and you may end up doing the same work all the 3 years. You may not get exposed to a lot of different things. Could be the risk what you have at the big four. At the same time, if your objective is to go in the corporate world in the future, then obviously these big fours, they're, the kind of brand what you get associated with, the kind of, systems what you learn over there could be extremely of help when you go for these things. So my specific answer is, depending upon what you want to do after a qualification should be the logic behind deciding what kind of firm you want to do articleship with. This is one part of the answer. The second part is, again, what would actually matter the most is, are you given the right importance in the place where you're going to do this articleship? It should not happen that, like they say, audit, AUDIT, all you do is tick. That should not happen, so that's the, worry. So it should not happen that you only do vouching for all the 3 years. So what is relevant or what is important is you are getting exposed to variety of work, and the importance should be given to you in terms of the different kinds of work. That is the second important priority. So this is with respect to the kind of firm what you choose. Now, coming back to the second part of the question, which option is better, CA versus CS versus CMA, CFA, ACC, and all of this, So again, each course have some merits and some demerits. I'll tell you what are the myths what people had. When I was doing CA, the general statement was कि अगर आप CA नहीं कर सकते तो CS कर लो, है ना, और अगर आप CS नहीं कर सकते तो CMA कर लो, which was called ICW before, which is wrong today. This is one part. The second part, of late, last 5, 7, 10 years, a lot of international qualifications, could be ACCA or CIMA or likes of those, have come into India, and they have been extremely aggressive. Now, there are pros and cons for each one of them. To name a few, if you look at any professional courses from our country, which currently there are 3, CA, CS, and CMA, you get the power to perform an attest function. So you become a signatory, you are the person who can sign a balance sheet, which unfortunately in India, if you have to practice, then these qualifications only make you eligible to perform the attest function, the signing of it. That is the basic difference between these Indian professional careers versus these ACCA or CIMA, which I talk about, which do not give you the powers to sign here. But having said this, ACCA and CIMA or few other programs like this have got amazing job opportunities. So if you especially want to go abroad, settle down there, you may definitely have much better advantage. If you look at the difficulty level, definitely, there are definitely ways in which you get multiple exemptions. If you are a graduate or if you are a CA intern, you get exemption from ACCA. So there are a lot of advantages of doing these international programs as well. So what I would suggest is, again, we have prepared a table in comparing all of these programs. I'll be happy to share this, after this session gets over. You can just have a comparison of all of this in a table, which will give you more understanding on this.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just had one more query that, so about the international courses. So is there a nice job opportunity in India also?
Yes, there is sufficient job opportunities. Obviously, the only thing is practice there is a disadvantage, but in job opportunities, I think yes, definitely there is enough opportunity in India as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shripalji. We'll move to the next question. Any participant who would like to unmute and let us know a question?
I'm pursuing my degree in pharmacy, and there are various scopes like research and marketing, but I cannot decide what field I should opt for.
Is this for me? Sorry.
What is your question? I was not very clear. Can you repeat your question, please?
I am pursuing my degree in pharmacy, and there are various scopes, but I cannot concentrate, or I cannot opt what field I should choose later on.
So you're doing your pharmacy already, right?
Yes, I am doing pharmacy, B pharmacy.
From where?
From Raipur only.
Okay, so it's B Pharma, the course what you're doing, is it?
Yes.
So you want to understand what next? Is it in terms of the next course, or what kind of job opportunities? Is that
Job opportunities.
okay?
Yes.
Okay, I may technically not be the right person to answer this, but from a very generic perspective, I have to talk about. Then obviously, there are enough pharma companies, and especially now, I think last 2-3 years, I don't think any better organization than the pharma industry, the way it has grown actually. So job opportunity wise, I'm sure there are a lot of pharma companies who are looking at people with this qualification. Or otherwise, I think from a business angle, I think it's also setting up your own, it could be a pharma shop, basically, a medicine shop, basically, could be one of the options. So though technically I'm not much aware, I think this is what from a very generic perspective, I would have to answer this. I think we had a doctor in this panel. I think if we can get some light.
Shripalji, Doctor Sir had to leave some
Achha.
emergency. So what I can do, I can take up this question with him and then reply on the WhatsApp group.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Just one announcement. So we will be wrapping up the session in next 5-7 minutes. So we'll take up 2-3 more questions. Request participants to kindly unmute and let us know the question. We see certain questions pasted on the chat box. So to the extent it is unanswered, we would paste it on the WhatsApp group.
Hello, sir. My name is Chandan.
Jai Jinendra.
I'm pursuing MBA, sir, in co-finance. So just I want to get a certification course.
You're not audible.
Jai Jinendra, sir.
Hanji, please tell me.
Sir, my daughter has done BSc in zoology, honors in BSc, and now she is pursuing MSc in biochemistry. So what can she do further?
I think we may not have the right answer at the panel now, because
I don't want to answer it, but I just want to tell from a TPF perspective, since we had very limited sort of time and coverage from a faculty perspective, different set of experts. There is a number called TPF. There is a service called TPF Paramarsh, where it's a WhatsApp service where you just have to write your questions. And there is options 1, 2, 3, medical and other things. So you write your question within 48 hours, someone will call you or you will answer. Because all people cannot be accommodated in the same time zone. So this is the TPF Paramarsh number, what you see on the chat. So because that opens up the question to wide variety of experts. It's a service from TPS. It's free of cost. It is for all. It's a WhatsApp chat number, so you can you just write your question. Once you write down, there will be automated board saying what option you want to choose. So you choose career related queries. That may be 4th or 5th, and then you put your questions, and then you will get your responses. And I think we are already over the time. So Shraddha, we may take 1 or 2 questions more, and then I think we need to wrap up. It's already time up.
Sure, sir. So I think Chandan would want to unmute and let us know his question.
Okay, ma'am, actually I'm pursuing MBA, ma'am, in co-finance. So just I want to take a certification course which helps to grow my career.
Okay, that question can give you outright to Rahulji. Rahulji, are you there?
Yes. So, Chandan, what specific course are you talking about?
MBA, sir. Actually, I'm doing co-finance. Just I want to take a certification course, sir.
Are you currently pursuing it, or?
Yes, I'm pursuing it. Now I'm in the 3rd sem. So just I want to know that which certification course which helps to grow my career.
Okay, I'll probably need a little more information, Chandan, from you. Let me connect with you offline.
Sure, sir. So one more question I have. is better to take a co-specialization or a dual specialization, sir, in MBA?
So my personal take, Chandan, is to have core specialization. I think it shows focus and also is a signal to potential employers. So I would recommend going ahead with core specialization rather than having dual specialization.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rahulji. We are now coming to the end of the session. We're already running short of time. So now I request Sumit Ji Baid for vote of thanks.
Yeah, Jai Jinendra all. I would like to thank all the eminent speakers for enlightening us with such a wonderful knowledge and wisdom what they've given us. I'm sure all of you would have a good takeaway today from the session. And I would also like to thank the audience who are very active in asking questions and clearing their doubts. So with this, TPF Bangalore signing off. Please stay connected, stay tuned for more events. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, all the speakers present here, Shripalji and others, and thank you, audience. Thank you, TPF, for providing me this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Hello, ma'am. Is there any particular group for joining TPF?
Shraddha Jain, I'll connect with you separately on this.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure. We have your details. I'll connect with you.